Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Retro Rewinder here with another pickup video. In this video you're going to see one giant theme, and that is pawn shops. Everything except one item in this whole pickup video came from pawn shops. And if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you will see that I just always post that I'm finding great deals at pawn shops. And here lately, the last month, 2 months, even 3 months, pawn shops have been my gold mine. That's where I've been finding everything. So first off, let's start with the one thing that I found that wasn't at a pawn shop, and that was at Goodwill. This is a game that Metal Jesus Rocks talks about very highly of, and when I saw it sitting there, which is Thief, for the PC, I knew I had to look it up on eBay and see what it was worth. Thought I was going to pull a certain person's catchphrase, but you were wrong. Anyway, I looked this up and saw that, I think it was going for $15 to $25, and they only wanted $5 for it, so I figured I would go ahead and try to pick it up. And if anyone's into big box PC gaming collecting, let me know, and I'll be glad to send this for a trade or something, because I have no interest in PC gaming, but I thought it was pretty cool to find. Okay, and I lied because I just saw something else. I did find one other thing that was not at a pawn shop, and this particular item came from Disc Replay. I had to go to a Disc Replay that's pretty far from my house because I bought Typing of the Dead from them, as you'd seen in one of my last few pickup videos here, and they forgot to put the disc in it, so I had to call them up and go back and get it, and it's quite a distance away, so it took me about a week to get over to that location. But, you can't just walk into a game store and pick up the one thing you were supposed to get. You have to look around, and I found something that was too good of a deal to pass up on, and that was Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess for the GameCube. Many of you know that the Wii version of this game is worth nothing, virtually. It's under $10, and Twilight Princess on the GameCube is like a $50 game, and they had it priced at $25, so 50% cheaper than what it would normally sell for. So I picked this up just because I knew that I could flip it for some more games for my collection. Okay, now let's jump into the pawn store stuff, because this is the rest of it. Let me check here. Yes, 100% sure this is the rest of the stuff is pawn shop pickups. So the first thing I have here at a pawn shop, they had a big bin full of discounted controllers, and they had 2 Wii controllers without the batteries, so they were $1 a piece. And I looked through the whole thing. They had probably 30 of the Wiimotes, but these two are the Wii Motion Plus. So I needed a couple of these for my Wii U because I only have 1 or 2, so it was good to get 2 more. And the cool thing is they also had this this Wii Motion Plus attachment sitting in the box, so I went ahead and clipped it on here and got the little extra value. So got this for $1 as well, meaning this controller and this for free. So $2 for those. And they also had a couple nunchucks. They had many off-brand nunchucks, but these are all the Nintendo brand, so I picked those up for 50 cents a piece. Okay, this first stack came from a pawn shop where they do not price their games. You just kind of have to ask what they're charging for it, and depending on who you have, the game could be higher or lower. So these 3 games have been sitting there in a while, which is Mario Kart Wii, New Super Mario Bros., and Mario Party 8. All 3 of these games have been sitting in there for a while, and I went in there one time and asked how much they were wanting for them, and the gentleman told me that they were like $15 a piece or something crazy. So I just left them there. Came back, had a lady working. I asked her how much they were, as well as picking up other games, because if that's a tip for you, if you're ever in a pawn shop and they don't price their games, never just pick up the ones you want. Pick up quite a few extras just to get a more consistent price line. So if you pick up a bunch of other stuff, they'll basically get tired of pricing or price stuff a little more fairly. So the lady told me that with these 3 games, and I also picked up Super Street Fighter 4 and asked her how much she wanted for that. She said $5 a piece. I think Mario Kart Wii was $5. New Super Mario Bros., I think she said she only wanted 3 for some reason, and then 5 for Mario Party 8. And the last game she said she wanted 10 for, which was Grand Theft Auto 5. and I would have been happy paying the 10 for that because that's still a pretty good deal on that game. But I basically said I was wanting all of them. I was going to pay the 5 and 3 and 10 respectively, and she said she would do all 5 of them for $25. So that was pretty cool. So I got a little discount there. Let's move on to this stack. Trying to think of where this came from. I know where it came from. Okay, this stack is pretty cool. Again, this store does not put a price on each individual game, but they do have a sign that says 10 bucks a piece or 2 for 15. So I found 3 games, and I asked if I got 3 if he could charge the other one for $7.50 as well. So the third game I got was Injustice: Gods Among Us for $7.50. And then I got New Super Mario Bros. Wii for $7.50. And Super Smash Bros. Brawl, again for $7.50. The cool thing was, when he went to look for these, he also had a container of DS games and PSP games, and I was looking through those, and he had a few GameCube games in there. They were disc only, but one definitely jumped out at me, and that was Zelda 4 Swords Adventure for the GameCube. And I asked how much he wanted for this, and he told me he would do that one for $5. And I said, you know, $5 is a bit too high for me for a GameCube game that is disc only, so I asked him if he would take 3. He said he would take 3, and then I said, okay, so I want these 3 in this one, and then he said, you know what, I'll just give this to you for $1. And I said, hey, that's really cool of you. And then when he went to ring me up, he said, you know what, we probably don't even have this in the inventory anymore, so I'm just going to give it to you for free. So it went from $5 to free. Okay, this particular pawn shop had some PSP games. They had Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories and Joan d'Arc, and they were charging pretty much $5 for all their DS games, 3DS, and they were charging $7 for all their PS3, Xbox 360. And then when I asked her how much for the PSP, she said they were only $2 a piece, so those were the only 2 worth getting at $2 a piece. But they also had a purple 3DS in their glass case, and it was sitting right next to a DSi XL, and they wanted $100, or no, they wanted $80 for the DSi XL, and they only had the 3DS priced at $65, and I thought that was still a pretty good deal where I could buy it and then turn this for like 20 or 30 bucks. So I went ahead and picked that up. It does work, and it came with a charger. And then as I was getting ready to pay, I noticed they had some games behind the counter that had not been put out for sale. And the first one I saw was Pokemon Soul Silver. So that was pretty cool, and it's not for resale. I don't know if that makes a difference, honestly. But it's got the Club Nintendo points in there. And they also had Pokemon X behind the counter. And like I said, they charge $5 for all their DS and 3DS games, so I got these for $5 a piece. Okay, this last stack, I think was a mistake on the pawn shop's part. This particular pawn shop has a giant case. They actually have 2 full of PS3, 360 Wii, and PS2. And then they also have this big media shelf that's kind of close to the games, that anything on that shelf is $1 to $2. And it's really random, because I mean, sometimes they'll have PS2 sports games in the case, they'll have Xbox 360 junk titles, and they want $8 a piece on basically any game in the case. But if it's on the shelf, it's $2. So these were all games that I found on that case. So I don't know if somebody took these out of the case or if they just mistakenly put them there, but everything in the stack was either $1 or $2. So I'll try to remember which ones were $1. I know for a fact I got 2 PS2 games, they were both $1, but I don't remember the other ones, what they were, if they were 2 or 1. But it's definitely $1 or $2. So the first game I got here is Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I didn't have this one yet, so I just went ahead and picked that up for $1. And Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, I didn't have that one either, so picked those up for $1 a piece. Like I said, I don't remember if these were 1 or 2. We got Fallout 3, and this is the Game of the Year edition. the Dreamcast collection for the 360, Skyrim, Resident Evil 6. I'm still looking for Resident Evil 5. I can't seem to find it for really cheap. I mean, I find it for 5, 6, 7 all the time, but that's still more than I want to pay for it. And Grand Theft Auto episodes from Liberty City. And last but not least, Assassin's Creed 3. So definitely cool to get that one because I've been looking for that one as well. The last two games that I have here were kind of a disappointment. And basically, I went into this store where they have a bunch of games that they don't price, but they have a bunch of games they do price. And generally, anything that they don't put a price on, they sell for a flat rate of $2. And I've bought many games there before for $2 a piece. And when I went in, I asked the lady, and I always make sure to ask. I asked, hey, if it doesn't have a price on it, do you charge $2? And she said yes. And I said, and some of the games have stickers that say bulk. And I said, are all the bulk games $2 as well? And she said yes. I asked her 2 times, the exact same question twice, because I really wanted to make sure. She said yes multiple times. As I was looking through the case, she came over and I said, if I bought a bunch of these games, would you throw some other type of bonus deal in? And she said they don't typically do that because they price them so low to begin with, but if I bought quite a few, she would do something for me. All she said was something. So I picked up a stack of about 15 games, took them up to pay. That lady walked away from the counter right when I got there. And another lady asked if she could help me, and I said, yes, I'd like to get these games. And I said that lady said that she could do something for me if I bought quite a few. And she looked at them, and she said, I can give them to you for $3 a piece. And I was like, well, they're supposed to be $2 a piece anyway. And she said, no, that's only the PS2 games. And I said, well, I asked multiple times, and I paid $2 a piece in the past for these games. And she said, well, she didn't know what I was talking about, but she was charging $3 a piece. So the lady asked the lady that helped me to begin with, and the lady that helped me to begin with claimed that she didn't know what I was talking about. So she flat out lied and hung me out to dry with the other pawn shop worker. So that really ticked me off. So I reduced the stack of 15 games to 2. And honestly, a lot of the games in that stack were still worth it at $3 a piece. But out of principle, I was just so mad at the time that I wanted to show them that they lost my business, basically, for that day. I'll go back when somebody else is working and try to give them for 2. But it just really made me mad to begin with. So the 2 games I picked up at $3 a piece was Wii Fit Plus. And this one does have the codes in it too. So I figured the $3 for the code and just selling off the game would be worth it. And a game that I've been looking for that I haven't found for cheap enough to buy until now is Batman Arkham City. So that has been all my pickups for this video. I hope you enjoyed the massive pawn pillaging, plundering that I've done. I feel like a pirate always going to these pawn shops and plundering all their great deals. Anyway, it's getting late. This is Retro Rewinder. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.